Namaste, Vitruvians. We are back. It is Friday. Time for another Vitruveo Spotlight. I'm here with Mike. Hello, Mike. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Good morning. Good morning, community. Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. We've got plenty of updates today. It's been a busy week.
Yes, it has. And it's next week is shaping up to be a very big week for Vitruveo. I'm super excited. Hello to all our community, and I must wish I Fly a Bus happy birthday, one of our biggest supporters here. So happy
Yep.
birthday! Yeah. I think we should just dive right into it here, Mike, because there's so much.
Mhm.
I don't want to lose time, a chance to get everything covered today. All right,
Mhm.
so let's get this going. All right, welcome everyone to season 6, episode 5 of the Vitruveo Spotlight. It's January 31, 2025. I'm Nick Kalyani, founder and CEO, and with me is Mike Purdy, COO. And at the Vitruveo Spotlight, we review the events of the past week and also update you on what is coming up that's new and interesting in the next week. So let's get going. We'll start off with the protocol update. So we've been working on that behind the scenes. VTech testing begins next week. We are slightly behind schedule, but we'll play catch up here. What we decided in a meeting a couple days ago is that we don't want to do the VTech and testnet in parallel in case there are some problems that are found. So VTech is going to do some initial testing, and if there are no issues reported, we are then going to upgrade testnet because we don't want to get into a situation where we've upgraded testnet and find some problems because we know people rely on it, especially developers for in the community for testing contracts and things like that. So we want to play it safe. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of the rebasing rules that are being brought into play here with this update because it's been a while since we talked about them. So here's a refresher. With the new changes, the rebases will originate at 10,000 daily transactions, and the transaction goal increases by 500, but only on each rebase. So those are the new rules that are going to come into play with this update. So 10K transactions is the baseline. That's when rebasing will start. And each time a rebase occurs, the goal goes up by 500. So 10,500, 11,000, and so on and so forth. All right, a sip of chai, and we can continue. All right. Next up, I want to talk about one big protocol milestone that we had. It's not huge, but it is significant. We just crossed 8 million blocks on our protocol, which means it's been going for 1 year, 3 months, 12 days, and some change. And that's great. We have over 375 validators securing the Vitruveo blockchain, and I'm very proud of hitting this particular milestone. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the big news of the week. We are listing on a centralized exchange on February the 5th, 2025 at 10 a.m. UTC. So we'll be listing on the Wix exchange, and this is going to be a listing of the Vitru token on Ethereum. So we have gone over why we are doing this in prior spotlights. So I'm not going to review that too much, but essentially the bridged token is the one that's being listed, and we are very excited about this. Also, another important factor is that Weeks does not have any KYC. It is open to U.S. residents. That the reason it does not have any KYC is because it does not have a fiat on or off ramp. So you would still need an exchange with a fiat on or off ramp, which I think most people who are crypto investors these days already have. So Weeks makes it great. They are a fun exchange, a good exchange. They have great volume. The team has been very good to work with, very responsive, and overall, I think it's going to be a great exchange, great exchange to start off with. Now, I want to remind everyone what our strategy is around the exchanges. So we are starting off with a top 30 exchange now. Our goal is then to add on a top 20 exchange, and then finally move up to a top 10 exchange. Mike, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, but the good thing is that Weeks is doing volume of top 20 exchanges, which is actually pretty cool. But the second uh, central exchange listing will be ranked in terms of liquidity and market cap and that sort of thing up in the top 20 range. So, um, and then we have something else that's planned that we'll discuss next week, which is really cool. So let's go next, Nick. So we've been keeping an eye on the price, keeping an eye on the charts. And if you remember this slide from last week, we had January 1st through the 21st, we had a lot of price volatility. Again, we were testing things out prior to the list on the granted airdrop coins that were sent that were already vested and seeing how they play with the supply to liquidity management and the ratio there. And we've had a chance to, we came to the conclusion that we do need to really manage that supply to liquidity ratio a little bit more just because of the liquidity was so thin. So we introduced the passport, which really adjusts, it allows us to adjust the flow that's bridged to the DEXs and also to the central exchange. It's not a stop, it's a slow. And since we did that, we've seen, January 22nd through the 29th, which was last week. Since the passport was, initiated, we've seen really nice, stable growth. We've seen price stability. And then since the last spotlight over the last 7 days, we've seen, again, price stability, price growth. And I threw this in here because it's important to know that the goal is not to prevent sells from airdrop coins, but just to slow them down to prevent supply to liquidity issues and dumping and price volatility and all of that. So what we have seen since we instituted was strong purchases, 83% growth in trading volume in the last 24 hours, up 30% in the last 24 hours. Up 15% in the last 24 hours, 62% price growth in the last 7 days. And then here's the biggest thing is that investors, especially our community, are not worried about granted coins dumping the price. And so what that produces is investor confidence. That way, people are more inclined to purchase. New holders are more inclined to purchase on the central exchange because there's a healthy chart, and it really allows the price to achieve higher support and resistance levels. So we'll go next, Nick. So if we look at now the 30-day chart, this is really what's important, and this really was our goal. We've seen a 34.4% 1 month return over the last 30 days since we've instituted the supply management, 100% in 24-hour trading volume, which is incredible. It actually jumped 20% since I was working on this deck. And this is a perfect pre-list chart. This is exactly what we were looking for. We broke through our resistance at 23, headed for higher support levels, which is awesome. And we have now we can increase our marketing spend because the marketing is actually going to work. And that's really cool. So we have strong community confidence. We have liquidity that's building, and the liquidity lock is going to be active. So we're going to be locking down liquidity, which is great. So yeah. Now, some of the things that we're going to be doing in order to provide and promote trust and transparency, both for the blockchain and for the core team, is liquidity lock is going to be initiated, as I mentioned before. We're going to be introducing a new transaction monitor channel in Discord that's going to show significant protocol and wallet transactions for full trust and transparency. We want to show the community that the team is managing the treasury responsibly. So we're going to have full transparency with that. Our team passports will only have Discord functionality. No wrapping or bridging is going to be available. And again, we want to show the team that we're not dumping. We're going to be held to the same standards that we hold the community to. So everybody can delay ROI and do responsible ROI over time. That's going to be the goal. Supply management. Passport is completely automated. So we didn't want to do some sort of manual, subjective management on the Passport. We really wanted it to be automated in terms of the valve on how much supply is allowed to leak through. That's going to be done through smart contracts, and it's going to be based on price performance. So as the price increases, as liquidity builds, the automatic valve loosens up a little bit and provides more claimable supply that goes into the bridge, which is great. And Nick was very adamant about that. He didn't want it to be a manual, subjective, some sort of metric. He wanted it to be algorithmic, which I think is super cool. Also, there's going to be a new core lock contract that will securely hold all unused coins, the treasury included. So that's going to release a small daily amount for operational expenses and marketing as needed. But it's not going to be upgradable. It's going to be immutable, and there's not going to be a contract owner. So there's going to be trust and transparency with the treasury, with the core team. And we just really wanted to communicate, guys, that we're in this with you. And we want to really provide an environment that really shows exactly what we're doing and what we're working on and our strategies. And there's no hidden nonsense, going on behind the scenes. So we want to be completely trustworthy and open on everything that is happening in terms of our fiduciary responsibility for managing treasury assets. So back to you, Nick.
Yeah, I just want to add to that we have always maintained from day one that we are making a path from centralized to decentralized. We are gradually, because you can't build a startup with fully decentralization unless it's one pure decentralized feature. We're not. We are a whole protocol, a whole application infrastructure, etc. So we have to make this pathway from centralized to decentralized. And now that we are approaching our centralized exchange listing, we are going to be as very, very cautious to be as decentralized as possible wherever we can. So that new core lock contract, it will be in place on or before February 4th. So we list on February 5, and so all the coins will be locked in there. And we do need coins for marketing, etc. So there'll be a small amount, and again, whatever withdrawals are made based upon the drip from that contract, you will see the links show up in the 3x Monitor channel. So anyone can audit at their own leisure and go and follow the trail and make sure that all coins are accounted for. We already have up on Scope a dashboard where everything is accounted for, but we are going to go even further than that and make sure that even that there is transaction level disclosure, if you will. So we'll do that. At first, it'll be manual, but as quickly as possible, we'll make that automated also. So Mike referenced the algorithmic approach to the supply management. Later in this stream, we'll go over the details on that, and I'll show you what the specific algorithm is and how that works. So ultimately, we are keen on having automation, smart contracts, etc., provide a lot of the trust and transparency and remove humans out of the equation. And so you're going to see more and more of that. But rest assured, by February 4th, we will have essentially locked up just about everything that's in contracts or in treasury wallets right now. It'll just be locked, and you can review that anytime you want. All right. Let's move on now to our next topic, which is the Vitruveo Passport. So we've been talking about this a lot. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with it, we don't want to repeat a lot of the content here. So there was a great flashlight we had a couple days ago. You can look at everything on there. What I did promise at that flashlight is that today we would reveal some more details. And so I'm ready to do that. But first, very quickly, high level of Passport. It's an innovative solution we've designed to manage our Vitru token supply on CEXs and DEXs, because there's a very large number of granted tokens coins here, and there is a high risk, as Mike already explained, from the graphs, etc., that we want to just control the price and make sure that we have a very healthy ecosystem and a healthy price growth over time. The workflow is pretty straightforward. You will submit a request for a passport. It'll be added to a queue. Part of it is automated evaluation. Part of it is manual evaluation that goes into a decision engine, and then either you're issued a passport or it's deferred and might be issued at a later time, possibly. So again, I'm gonna just go quickly through these slides. I put them in here just for continuity, but I'm not gonna dwell on them too much. We are going to make it possible for you to request your passport from Scope. All your information you submit is confidential, and there's a variety of criteria, but mostly automated. We're going to look at your on-chain activity in terms of purchases of different tokens, and also your social activity. Remember, I emphasize this every single time we talk about passport. Passport is optional. You don't need it. You only need it if you want access to the upcoming Vitruveo Insiders Discord channel, or you want early access to Wrap, Bridge for DEX or SEX. If you've staked most of your assets, then you don't really need a passport. And once there's adequate liquidity and good price growth, we're gonna open it to all, and you're gonna see our limits that we've put that are algorithmic a little later here in this session. So I'm gonna skip a couple of these slides here because we've already talked about them in Flashlight. These talk about the types of passports we have: silver, gold, black, etc. But what I want to get to is the actual supply aspect of it, because I think that's most relevant and most important for everyone to understand. So only passport holders may wrap or bridge Vitru until there's adequate liquidity, and the quota is algorithmically maintained. And what we want to do is, instead of having a once a day kind of thing, we're going to do it every 6 hours if the price has grown. So let's look at how we're going to do that. So our algorithm, and I put tentative up there because just need to model it a little bit more and make sure that it works. But I think we are about 90% there. So if you look at the current available supply on the SEX, it's around 375,000, give or take. The overall circulating supply of the chain is 7 million, again, give or take a little bit. So let's say that we start off with an approximate initial price of 25 cents. I don't know yet what the exact price is. We have to discuss that, and we'll take that under advisement from the exchange. But let's say that we want a sample target growth of about 1,000%, which would put us at a sample target price of 275. This is not our target price forever. It's just a target price for us for removing all the wrap and bridge limitations, right? So let's say that we have a target price of 275 to get there. So on the right hand side, for the math nerds in the audience, there's a formula, and I'll make sure that there's a Google sheet available with that formula, so you can plug in numbers and see it. But basically, it consists of the current price, the initial price, the target price, the circulating supply, and based on that, we compute what the SEX available supply should be. So I know this is abstract and hard for people to understand. Let's look at real numbers. Okay, so this is easier to understand. So let's say this is not this is actual. We have 7 million circulating supply, and let's assume we want a target price of 275, which is 1,000% up from 25 cents. So the way it works is every 6 hours, the contract essentially looks at the old price versus the new price, and using the formula on the prior slide, it computes, okay, based upon this, what should the SEX target supply be? So in this case, in the first row, the new price is 50 cents. The old price was 25 cents. So based on that formula, it calculates that it should be 700,000. So if the current supply is 375,000 and the new supply should be 700,000, that means that all the passport holders can unwrap, in this case, bridge 700,000 minus 375. I'm bad at doing math in my head, but you can get it. So that's how that works, where it will dynamically figure out how many coins should be allowed to be bridged over, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Now, on the second example, you see the old price was 50 cents and the new price is 45 cents. So it went down. In that case, there's no change. There's no new tokens that will be available to be bridged or wrapped. But in the next case, there's a significant jump in price from 25 cents to 75 cents. So you can see that more the targeted supply is higher. And ultimately, if the new price hits 275, which is 1,000% of the original 25 cents, you can see that the whole supply would then be available and there would no longer be any constraints, and we would just remove the supply sentry feature of Passport and make it available to everybody. So I think that's basically the algorithm we are going with. There's not going to be any manual intervention. It's fully automated, and anyone can compute what the supply is going to be at any time based upon the price differential. So we'll take questions on this later. I'm sure there's questions, but let's continue then. All right. Next up is a little bit on Exhibit. So honestly, I have been focused a lot on Passport this week, so I haven't given the dev team as much attention as they asked. They have the stores feature running, and I haven't had a chance to review it in detail and test it out, which is why I'm not prepared to announce it. But I want to show you that it does work. So if you look at the URL here, it says Marcos, which is one of our developers, .exhibit.live, and this is a sample developer level grade store that he created. But you can see that it has a splash banner, it has a name, it has a description, and it has unique artworks. Again, this is in test right now, but this is exactly what we'll allow anyone to do. In about 15 minutes, they'll be able to stand up a store like this with whatever name they want at the exhibit.live domain. So we are in the process of creating a landing page. So when you go to stores, you're going to see a landing page of stores. They will be moderated, so only the stores that will go through the moderation process will appear there, and we expect that people will create stores for their groups, even for their individual. There's no reason an individual artist cannot create their own standalone store if they want to. So that is coming up. But a bigger news that I want to share with you today is about a new event and partnership that we are looking into and have entered into. So that is Primavera Digitale in Florence, Italy, from March 31st to April 6th. We are really, really excited about this event. It's really very art-centric and targeting Web 2 artists, people who are not in Web 3. We are excited to participate here. So what is this going to be about? Well, it's in Florence, the birthplace of the Renaissance, and as we are creating a new Renaissance in Web 3 for artists, it seems fitting for us to attend this event and really showcase our capabilities to the world of art and artists. So it's a festival. It's a week long of exhibitions, educational events, social gatherings for anyone who creates, collects, and wants to learn about digital art. So it is a very big event, and we are very excited to be part of it. You can learn all about this event. You can see the exhibit is on the partner page there at Primavera Digitale 2025.com. So we'll be sharing more details about what we'll be doing there, how we'll be going about it, which artists will be featured. So there's a ton of work we have to do in that area, but we're working with the team. Pam in particular is coordinating with them, and we're going to have this is going to be a very, very exciting event. So if you go to their website, you can see everything that's going to be held, exactly what exhibitions are going to be there. They have got some great locations, some really classic locations in Florence, where we'll be showcasing some of our community artworks and things like that. So we are really really excited about this event, and look forward to it. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some staking enhancements. So, as you know, we had mentioned previously that we are going to allow smaller staking enhancements. Those changes are coming up. They're already in the contract. They are not yet in the scope UI. That is coming up probably by tomorrow. So you're going to have smaller stake terms ranging from 3 months to 30 months that you can use to get some verse and help us get to our staking challenge, which we're going to talk about. We are also going to introduce the ability for you to stake or swap vesting Vitru for verse. So I know a lot of you have noticed right now that the claim feature in the vesting contract is disabled. It is because we are in the process of upgrading that contract and making this capability available. It will be available again very soon, but we want to give you the full buffet of staking capabilities, because we really want everyone to get verse, because we believe that it is going to be very useful in having long-term income, and that's our focus, long-term income. So we want everyone to have an opportunity to have it, and that 7 million number, we do want it to get lower, and also we want to get to the 20 million challenge. So I encourage everyone, especially the artists here who have not yet staked a lot, to do that, because when it comes to Passport, your stake ratio is going to be really really important. So if you got like 5,000 Vitru, but you stake like 500, that's not a very good stake ratio. So it's unlikely your Passport will be issued, in which case you will have to wait until much later before you will be able to trade. But if you're okay with that, that's perfectly fine. So we respect that. All right, so that's staking enhancements. Now let's talk a little bit about our big challenge that's ongoing, which is thanks to Garfield and Sabong Evolution. It is the Sebo 20 million token challenge. So if our stake Vitru total reaches 20 million, it was Jan 31, but I requested, the community stepped up, and Garfield agreed to give us 4 more days. So the deadlines moved to Feb 4th, and our goal is a 20 million tokens. So let's look live and see where we are right now on that. So we should be pretty close. Oh, you know what? Whenever I am live, things take longer to load. Here we go. All right, so we have 18.75 million staked and 1.25 million to go. This is an achievable goal. We can achieve this goal by Feb 4th if we all pull together. And I believe the community is doing a splendid job of that. Amazing job. And really, really excited. Now, if this goal is achieved, what's going to happen is that the verse units for everyone who staked the Vitru is going to be doubled. So that is going to be a huge positive benefit for you. So if you haven't yet staked, please do so, because you're going to help yourself, and you're going to help the community. We're going to make it even easier for you. What we're going to do is have an event coming up here. But before we do that, let's just compare where we were last Friday and where we are today. So if you look, we were at 18.19 million staked last Friday, and today we are at 18.74 million. So that's about a 500,000 that's been staked in that time. And so we are really close, guys. So let's talk about how we are going to go about getting that gap closed. Well, the way we are going to do that is by having a community mixer. So I appreciate the excitement, the enthusiasm that everyone has in the community, and I think that we can channel all that energy by coming together live. So I'd like to announce a community mixer that starts on Saturday night and goes on all night. Well, daytime for some people, but people in the US, it's going to be all night until Sunday morning, PST. We're going to have staking challenges. We're going to have mega art buying blitz. I'm just going to go all out and buy a ton of art to give artists an opportunity to stake. We're going to play Magic Squares. We're going to have some airdrops. We're going to have some new vibe related airdrops that you do not want to miss, that you have to be present. And we'll do that multiple times so that the different hours and you don't have to stay up too long for that. My goal is to meet with community leaders and announce these plans by Saturday morning. So I pretty much have the next, well, 12 hours, I guess, to get this planned out. But we'll do it. We'll do it, and we will have a lot of fun. We'll also have some live performances. I think I can get Garfield to come and sing and play his guitar a bit. So that should be fun. I also encourage any other musical talent in the community to step up. We want to have people come up and chat. I want to meet people who are willing to be doxxed to come up. But even if you're not willing to be doxxed, you can put an avatar up and come on the stream, just talk, and really want to get to know people and really feel the vibe of this community. So community mixer coming up. It's gonna be a great party. We are gonna really get everyone involved, and we're gonna meet our goal. We are gonna meet that staking goal, and everyone is going to benefit from it. So I'm really, really excited. In particular, the buying blitz. It is going to be a mega buying blitz. I think it's going to be the largest art buy we've ever had. So excited about it, and look forward to it. Look for details on this. We'll share them as soon as I've had a chance to talk to some other community leaders and get this planned out. Like I said, it'll be by tomorrow morning. We should have that information out. All right. So I think that is our spotlight for today. I'm going to go ahead and make this deck public for you, and then we're going to start taking some questions, and hopefully all your questions we can answer here today.
Yeah, looks like we've got a few questions. So guys, go ahead and start typing your questions, and then we'll get to them as quickly as we can. But we've had a chance to star some of the questions that were asked over the course of the AMA. So here, let's dive into it. If you buy coins now on our DEX, can these be sold at any time? Passport is just for OG vested coins. Nick?
Yeah, so our DEX has no coins. It's important. It's wrapped Vitru, so it's tokens. Yeah, so if you buy tokens, wrapped Vitru is within the confines of Vitruveo. So you don't need to do anything with wrapping or bridging or anything. Those tokens sit in your wallet. When you feel like selling them, you sell them.
Mm-hmm. And why are we listing on ETH? Isn't gas more expensive?
Yeah, I've seen this question come up again and again, and I'm really, really puzzled by it because, gas is irrelevant when it comes to centralized exchanges. You pay once when you transfer your tokens into the exchange, and potentially once if you were to get them out again. But look, if you look in terms of all the criteria that are important: decentralization, security, L2 protocols for the L1, the number of validators, the level of activity, the number of enterprise applications, the number of governments building on it, etc. There's no contest. ETH is head and shoulders above it. So I think looking at the choice of a centralized exchange from the perspective of gas is really the wrong attribute to be looking at it, because it's quite frankly an irrelevant attribute. So what we are looking at is the adoption, the decentralization, the security, and the strategic growth and adoption of the blockchain, and where we want to be. And Ethereum is where we want to be.
Okay. Mike, is there a way to count the transactions on central exchange towards the protocol transactions goal for the rebase? I don't think so. Nick?
Even if we could, we wouldn't do it,
Yeah.
Robert. And here's why. The intent of the transaction goal is to be a measure of protocol success, of protocol growth. We don't want to find workarounds to get that goal up. I mean, we can just, if we really want to do that, we can just say, okay, there's a rebase every other day or something like that. It defeats the purpose. What we really want to see is a healthy growth of the protocol, for the transactions to go up, and having counting the transactions on, for example, an exchange where you could have literally thousands and thousands of small transactions as trades are made, doesn't really move the needle for us. What we want is growth through applications, through people organically using the protocol. And I think someone also asked, can this be gamed? Right? Well, in order to game it, we would require you to set up your own node and set up your own RPC servers, because our RPC servers are already protected against having a large number of transactions. You would not be able to do it with our RPC servers. So yeah, we wanted this to be an honest and fair and organic measure of growth of the protocol. So if we are not growing, we're not going to get a rebase. It's not free. You get it when we perform. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Pam says, love the transparency. That's great, Pam. Thank you. Mike, can you explain about the bot Vitru on BSC? Will they also be subject to the passport? Are they free to bridge to ETH? Vitru, many thanks to you. You both rock. I think go ahead, Nick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the way the supply sentry, which is the component of Passport that manages the supply, works is it works on two levels: an individual level and then a Passport level. So the individual level works like this: if you bridge in some Vitru, so convert it from Vitru token to Vitru coin, and that's independent of the chain, whether you do it from BSC or whether you do it from Ethereum, you have a credit balance then in supply sentry. So let's say that I have 100 Vitru tokens on BSC. I bridge them in. So now I have a credit on the bridge of 100 coins, and I am free to then use that credit to bridge out 100 coins. Same goes with wrap. If I unwrap a certain number of tokens, I now have a wrap credit, and I can wrap that many again. So that's the first thing that Supply Sentry checks for and uses up. It works against your credit, and once that's depleted, if you don't have any credit, then it looks at Passport and says, are you eligible based upon your Passport level and the supply that's currently algorithmically approved? How many can you wrap or bridge? So it's a two-step solution, both automated.
Okay. Bob asked, what are unused coins? We referenced that, I think, on slide 9. Yeah.
Those are basically treasury coins that, for example, if an investor invests right now, that's where the coins come from. So it's the inventory of coins that is allocated for different purposes. For example, there's an allocation for future perks. There's an allocation for validator incentive program called VIP. There's an allocation for boosters, perks, etc. So these are all allocations and would be considered unused coins, but they are there for a purpose. It's their purpose has not arrived yet. So we would put all of those into core lock, so they cannot be touched in any way until it is time to distribute them or allocate them.
Yeah. Okay. Auto stake the abandoned whale wallets. Yeah, I don't know. I think we just brought the dormant wallets into the treasury, right?
Yes.
We pulled the trigger on that, but not a bad idea. Can you please introduce a one-step process to allow Vitru to be swapped for Vitro without the need for a separate wrap process as per Pancake Swap?
Well, Vitru is never going to be on any DEX or any centralized exchange as a coin. It's not possible to do that because of the rebasing. It is always going to be wrapped. That's why we have wrapped Vitru. A one step would, yeah, I don't think we can avoid the wrap process there. Not only Vitro, but with any other coin. It's just not possible to do it. Because think about it. If we were to have Vitru coin on a DEX, and there's a rebase that occurs, it throws all the price, the liquidity provider amounts, etc., completely out of whack, and you would have some chaos going on. I can't even imagine what would exactly happen, but it would be chaotic. You don't want that. So that's why you have the wrap version, and I don't know that we can do a one step. Sorry.
Okay. Where's the SIBO X airdrop from last week's Magic Squares?
Please, that's a community project, and this is something you can bring up in the Sabong Evolution Discord channel.
Perfect. Okay. When is the Vitruverse 1-to-1 for 6-month stake going to be available in scope?
As I just announced today, we're going to have all the smaller ones available. They're already available in the contract. If you know how to look up the contract, the core stake contract, you can see that those new stakes are available now. In terms of the UI and scope, it'll be available by tomorrow.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. Trading on weeks is Wrap Vitru or Vitru. It is going to be Vitru, the token, not the coin.
Yeah, exactly. Vitru, the token on Ethereum.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When do you think the validator protocol update will be taking place?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, VTech is going to be starting with its testing this weekend. In a couple days, if everything is okay, couple maybe more 3 days, we will upgrade testnet. If there's no issues there, then we will proceed to mainnet. Just keep in mind, folks, and this is the reason I did the rebase refresher. The update is not going to start rebases. It's a transaction count and we're not yet there. I think there have been days where I saw 3,000 transactions. So we are quite a ways away, and hopefully things will change as we are listing on the centralized exchange. But we need to get to 10,000 transactions per epoch per day before any of those rebases will occur. So we will update the protocol, no doubt, but there is not going to be any rebase action until we have the community working on more projects and things like that, which we expect will happen very fast. Probably, I would say in the next 30 days or so, we can start expecting to hit those numbers, but just wanted everyone to be aware of that.
Okay. With so many different tokens, would you consider creating an infographic that shows each token and how and when to use each token? I've been here since pre-sale and I'm Discord and I am confused.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about doing an infographic. Obviously, we do have some token information on the actual website. Down towards the bottom of the website, we list out all the blockchain tokens. But if you're talking about community projects and that sort of thing, sure. I mean, we're small enough to do that, but it will get to a point where it's just not, there's going to be so many projects and so many things going on. But for native projects and verticals, absolutely. I think that's.
Yeah, I can take a stab at explaining the basic one coin and 3 tokens, which I think is the bulk of everything. There is the native cryptocurrency of our Vitruveo blockchain, which is called the Vitru coin, VTRU coin. If you want to trade it on a DEX on Vitruveo, you need to wrap it into a token, and that token is called wrap Vitru. It's a 1-for-1. So 1 Vitru equals 1 wrapped Vitru. You can wrap and unwrap it. If you want to use Vitru on chains such as BSC or Ethereum, Vitru is no longer a coin there. It is a token, a standard ERC20 token. And for that, you would have to bridge it. And we have a bridge capability for that. So when it is on those chains, it is Vitru token. So that's basically the gist of it. On chain here in Vitruveo, the cryptocurrency is the Vitru coin. For use on the DEX on Vitruveo, it's Wrap Vitru. For use on BSC or Ethereum, it is the Vitru token.
Okay. So Jerome from Discord had a very interesting comment regarding making connections with large companies. Any feedback on this, Mike? Yes. Yeah, I've talked with Jerome a few times through DM, and we set up a meeting with Tower Bank down in Panama to talk about the credit card processing for Exhibit and our print on demand. The problem was when we joined the meeting, he was Spanish speaking only. And so we had to reschedule the meeting. And so that's pending. But we did follow up with that. And then he also had an idea in terms of L'Oreal, some sort of reach out on that. This is all of these are great ideas, guys, but the problem that Nick and I deal with right now is we have more ideas than we can execute on, and we're still working on building out the MVPs. So it runs into a situation where we have to prioritize things, and trying to get to some of these other amazing ideas, which we agree are amazing. It's just a matter of bandwidth. Nick and I are already putting in 18-hour days, and we are recording. I do have an active list of all the different things that we have to get to, and the Tower Bank thing that Jerome suggested, we were already on top of that day one. The L'Oreal comment that he did 2 days ago, I need some time to get to that. But we were working on a potentially massive partnership that took priority over the past week. Which is going really, really well. And then we had we had the sex listing, obviously, that we're dealing with. We had the passport thing that we were dealing with, stores, all of these different things that we're trying to crank out in preparation for the list. I think once we get our list behind us, we can kind of go hands off and then really focus on scaling. That's where we're going to be hitting partnerships up hard. As I mentioned before in a previous Discord post, that we're going to be appointing community leads, to the certain verticals, and then that way we can focus on just scaling. And Nick and I can take more of I can run operations, and Nick can really run strategy with strategic partnerships. And so that's kind of going to be the game plan, guys. So give it a little bit of time. We'll get there. Nick,
I
any
also
other?
wanted to address something on here. I see fantastic ideas, really, really good ideas. And I also see the word that I love. It's prefixed with just do this. Why don't we just, and I love the optimism of that term, but I hope people understand that there's a right time when you go to market or meet with a partner or engage a certain group. So, for example, people would love for us to just get all these Web2 artists on board, but we can't do that until we've got the right solutions in the application in place, right? We need email login. We need to make sure that there's a nice onboarding workflow. There's all of that. So we just can't do that because of the fact that, look at the limitations: limited capital, limited time, limited resources. So we can't just jump into some of these things. We have to do it strategically and systematically. Like, look at this exhibition in Florence, for example. The timing is right. It's in April. We will have stores up. We will have a beta streaming solution up by then. We will have a true level done. We will also have some of our augmented reality stuff done, etc. So it's going to be a perfect timing to start, entering the marketplace with that. But if you try and do it now, what we have is people coming and saying, well, this is just not for me. It's too complicated. It's not right, etc. Because right now we have started off with building for Web3 artists because that's the low-hanging fruit. They already are familiar with things. But until things are more well-developed and more correlated for the audience that we want to reach out to, just doing it is not practical. We really can't do it. Also, uh, if it hasn't been obvious to everybody who's been on these spotlights all these weeks by now, you should know by now that we take things very deliberately and very strategically. So what might seem like a random thing, or why are they doing this, why are they just not doing marketing, for example, etc. What's the point of having marketing and having a bunch of people show up but nothing for them to do? It doesn't make any sense. We need to make sure that they have the application capabilities. We need to make sure that they have the documentation, the guides, things like that, all of that done. All of that takes time, money, resources. We cannot just do it. So it would be a waste of marketing resources, for example, if we just say, hey, all artists come on board here immediately. Well, what are they going to do? They're going to be very confused and not very happy. And we don't want that. So very systematically and strategically, we are going about growing this. And uh, keep in mind that we talk about these things deliberately, and we go into like, okay, what should we do now? So just about everything that you can think of, we also have access to chat gpt, etc., to strategize and think of these ideas. So we think about it very deliberately and very strategically, and make connections, make partnerships when the timing is right. We even think carefully about, is it the right time to talk to this person that we know we have this contact? Well, no, because it might be premature, and we would lose that opportunity if they think that we don't have the capabilities that we really intend to deliver in our partnership with them. So I love the enthusiasm. Keep the ideas coming. We do take note of them, but not everything is actionable right now, as Mike said, because we want to make sure that the foundation is built. We are really creating a very solid foundation, because the stronger your foundation, the taller and bigger you can grow. And remember, I always come back to the proverb: if you want to go fast, go solo, but if you want to go far, go together. So we want to take the community along with us also on this journey. So what we are doing now with the staking, etc., we are bringing the community together on this. We want to think together and act together, and really look at the success of this protocol together, because I believe with all my heart that is going to be very, very, very big. And we are just scratching the surface right now. So I'm very, really excited.
Yeah, it would be. I wish we can get to a point, Nick, where we can focus on one thing
Oh
and
yeah.
just build that and market that. And but as it stands, we're working on four, three verticals, and then the protocol, and then we also have community projects that we're kind of assisting as well. So
Mhm.
there's just on top of fundraising and all of these other things. So we're going to get there, guys. As soon as we get the protocol done, get it listed, and get the protocol reset done, and we can just have a breather, and then we can focus on the verticals and scaling, which is going to be great. Okay, let me get caught up here. Nick, great explanation on the supply sentry. Just one more question: is the coin credit that when you bridge in for bridging back to ETH BC, or do you need a passport?
No, this is active right now. Right now, if you use the bridge or you use wrap, supply sentry is active and is tracking your credits. So there's no need for a passport.
Okay. Question on the Kara partnership. Is there anything going on with that, Nick? I know that that's in the
Yeah,
background.
we'd mentioned it, we'd approached it, but we didn't get a response, honestly. So that's maybe we'll try again later. But again, we're not ready for it.
Yeah. Um, why somebody can't invest 10 to 100 Vitru to make some kind of spam to trigger the rebase, or am I missing something? Because of rate limiting, right? If they were to
Yeah.
bot it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if someone really wants to do that, they have to invest in setting up their own node and have RPC, which I know is, people can do that if they want to. But really, i- if we are successful as we plan to be, these things become unnecessary. We've set the goal now to pretty low, 10,000 transactions and then 500 per day. If you're not meeting those goals, then that's a problem. It's a bigger problem. So I think we will easily be able to do this with performance as our ecosystem grows. So I don't think it is necessary to trigger or do things like that for the rebase. And really, how does the bigger market will recognize that, will see that these are fake rebases, right? And so then you just have inflation of supply, and that's not going to be healthy for the price. So we don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. My head hurts. I feel like it's very complex. Is there a basic summary of what's blocked? Investing, core, trooper, art sale, purchased, tokens, coins, all of this. Easiest thing to do is to think, if you were granted a coin, the passport applies. If you purchased a token, there's free trading. I don't know how I can make that more simple. Nick, is there?
If your head hurts, imagine how mine feels. No,
Yeah.
there isn't a good way to explain it. But let's put it this way: not everybody needs to be aware of all the various aspects, various coins, etc. It depends on what your domain is. If you're a creator, you need to know 2 or 3 things. If you're an investor, you need to know 2 or 3 things. If you're a booster holder, you need to know 2 or 3 things. With Scope, we've been trying to gradually make things easier, but I understand that we have a ways to go. We'll try and make it easier. We'll try and create more infographics and things like that.
Yeah, we'll get something posted as well after this this spotlight. We'll get something posted, either a document or something that can break down, with an infographic or a flow chart or something like that will assist in. But we'll also put some sort of disclaimers in Scope as well. In terms of claiming possibly on the bridge, we'll get some disclosures on there, and that way people are well informed. Okay. Do I need a passport if I'm only planning on selling rebases?
The two are unrelated. You need a passport if you want to wrap or bridge, while we have the supply management controls in place. So this is a nuanced question because it depends on when you want to do it. But it is irrelevant how you got your coins. What's more important is, do you want to bridge them in order to be able to trade on decentralized exchanges on BSC or on centralized exchange on Ethereum, or if you want to trade on the DEX. If you want to do that, then you need to have a passport, and that's also limited until we hit our goal. After that, there's no restriction.
Yeah. Okay. So when is the passport release date?
So the passport contract is already on testnet. It seems to be working just fine. So we'll deploy to mainnet, and we have about, 10 or 15 very committed, longtime members of the community who will have test this out. If those tests go well, then we'll roll it out. Our goal is to start passport issuance a couple days before we start the listing on weeks, which is on the 5th. So I think by the 3rd or so, we should have at least a beta process in place and start queuing up requests.
Oh, let me see. Where are we? And Ars is looking for an
I
update.
See my most favorite
GOD.
word ever there.
When?
Next week I'll be. I thought I'll be rid of that word next week. I thought I'm already rid of that word because it's done. But no, we are working on it, and as you know, I make it a point every spotlight to show you our progress. Right now, with print on demand, we have redone the store architecture to allow different licenses, and we prioritized shipping the stores feature and the true level feature first over getting the print and demand. Because if we worked on all 3 in parallel, we would get nowhere with all 3 of them. So I told the team to prioritize getting the stores feature out first, then work on True Level, which now we have a response from Synapse. We'll be able to fast track that, and then finish print. So that will be probably a couple of weeks from now, maybe 3 weeks.
Okay. Just going through them, Nick. Yeah, this was another question about when the new staking plans were going to go live.
Yeah, so I already answered that earlier. They're already in the contract, but there's no UI for them. So if you know how to use Explorer to go and interact with the contract directly, you can go ahead and do that. They are every stake term in our core stake contract has an ID associated with it, and the new IDs range from 12 to 18. So 12 is 30 months, 13 is 24 months, 14 is 18 months, and so on and so forth. I know I'm speaking Greek gibberish for most people, but if you want to interact and stake directly right now, you can do it. But keep in mind that if you stake directly, you're not going to get Verse. For that, you have to go to the Verse contract, and that does not have the interaction yet. But the staking plans are active right now. So if you say, just give me another day and we'll have them in scope, and then it'll be seamless. You can just click a button and it'll be done.
Yeah. Okay. Homeless, you had a question about the rebasing. Based on this, the best thing to do is just go to scope and then go into the rebase calculator, and then you can play with the numbers there and you'll be able to see it all come together. In terms of updates for non-passport holders, that will be the general channel. There will be plenty of coverage in there. I personally think that most of the OGs should get a passport. It just determines on what passport you're getting. So we kind of know who's really active in there. We see the same faces over and over again. So I think most people that attend the AMAs and most people that are in the lives are most likely going to get the passports. Yeah. And new investors, yeah, the passport really isn't relevant to them because they're bringing in new money. As really the passport's really designed for supply management from airdrop granted coins from Genesis OGs. So the vast majority of the new community doesn't need to know about passports. It's really not relevant to them at all. We're not locking down cells on every single transaction. Like I've seen some of the comments on CoinMarketCap, and they're just ridiculous. They think that we're locking cells and all of this. This only applies to airdropped granted OG coins and to manage the supply and liquidity. So it's done in a responsible way and not just a free for all and panic to grab as much liquidity as you can after the central exchange list. So there's a method to the madness. You can see in the charts that the strategy is working flawlessly. It's working really, really well. It is just math. I mean, if you kind of control and manage the active supply until it gets to a point where it can grow on its own. It's no different than when you're planting a sapling or a tree, you stick a stick in the ground and you tie a little string or a little twine around it, and until it has enough strength in order to support its own weight, and that's really what we're doing with the blockchain.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful for people to understand the workflow here. Let's say that it's February 6th. There's trading going on. Someone goes on the exchange and buys Vitru, a new investor who's got nothing, right? Prior, they now hold Vitru tokens in their wallet. They want to take advantage of rebasing, and they bridge in. All right. So now they have Vitru coins in their wallet on Vitruveo chain. Maybe they changed their mind about half their stash. They were like, okay, no, I want to go back to the exchange. Well, they go back from Vitru coins to Vitru tokens. And why can they do that? They can do that because the supply sentry has a credit for them for the number of tokens they bridged in. So there's no problem. They will be able to bridge out transparently and do whatever they want to. So as far as new investors go, they won't even know there is any issue. So our smart contracts are in fact smart. We've designed it that way, and there will not be any issues. And anyone who thinks otherwise should, I'm happy to have them look at the logic of our contracts and understand how it works. But we've thought about this very carefully, and the point of the passport is a temporary measure to control supply. It's not a permanent thing. And again, as displayed today, it's algorithmic, so anyone can predict exactly what supply will be based upon the price changes.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, if somebody were to, let's say, bridge from BSC onto the Vitruveo chain, and they're not able to get that credit, where would that problem be? Would that be in the Sentry code, or
It would
would it
be
be?
that they had bridged before Sentry, so we have no way of tracking that.
Okay.
So currently, if it is an outside investor, if it's someone new who didn't have any OG coins, I think we can set up a process where they can report that with a support ticket, and we can help them
Mhm.
out with that.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, I think that's what I've got, Nick. Anything else?
No, I'm just looking forward to our fun little mixer here. I'll reach out to a few people in the community who like Mystique, etc., so we can Pam will plan things out here and get things going. Garfield's already on board, so yeah, we want to make this really fun. I welcome ideas from anybody and everybody how to make it fun and interesting, and in particular, if you are if you can perform songs, music, whatever, let me know. We'd love to have you come on and just do this fun thing. So we'll start with a Saturday Night Fever and keep going until Mystique has her community Sunday morning, well, it's morning for me, but evening for other people, space on X, and we'll just keep going and just have a lot of fun in between. And I'll be buying some art. I'll be doing magic squares, giveaways, airdrops, things like that, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun starting tomorrow night Pacific time.
Yep. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will probably have a flashlight, possibly Tuesday, Nick, or maybe we could do it. Yeah, we'll be in touch because there's a couple of other things that we have to announce, which are really exciting. We have a new community project that'll be announcing shortly. So we should just expect another announcement for a midweek flashlight, probably on Tuesday or somewhere around there. We'll make that decision in a bit. Please join us in Discord if you have any other questions or concerns or have any troubleshooting issues. Definitely reach out to us in Discord, and we'll get those issues handled. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you, Nick, for all the hard work this week. And we shall see you guys in Discord and on the next flashlight. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.